Hello, I'm Chris. This is Gross Models, and welcome to a more in-depth look at the Adventure Kit 2.0. Yes, we already had a look at the bits that were in the kit. Now we're going to have a look more in depth at the bits of the kit and some practical uses for some of them. I'm going to go down to the bench and show you some bits one at a time, and some coding and things on there as well. I'll be learning it along with you because I don't remember any of the coding and things that I did for the Adventure Kit 1, the Lost in Space, 30 Days in Space. So yes, let's get down to it and see exactly what we can do with all the things that we've got in this lovely, lovely box. This is the Mega board. I shall put the diagram of all the pins and things there for you to see and look at what all the things it can do, and then we'll get on with some programming. So here we have the first component, the most important component, the Mega board. It's not a Hero board. Hero was from the 30 days. This is better. This is new and improved. This is the 2560 Arduino board. It's got more ports on it. It's got more power. It's just all around better. So yeah, this is what we're going to be basing most of this course on, as far as I am aware. It could change. I don't know. It plugs into the USB exactly the same as the other one did. Just like so. We have some lights on it. Is the light on there? That's very strange. Yeah, we have a light on there. It's flashing, as you can just about make out down there. That's because it's loaded with code already. I shall put the code in now, and we'll update it and make it look a little bit different. Right, this is what the screen is going to look like while I'm doing some coding. You can still see, obviously, the board and what it's going to be doing, the flashy lights on things on there, and the code, which I can interact with over here. This is the Blink code, which is an example that's been pre-programmed. I think I can have a look through and see if I can vaguely remember what things are. Right, the void setup is initializing the LED button as an output. Ooh, if I highlight over that's quite cool. It just tells you a little bit of detail about what's going on there. So we've set up pin mode, LED built in as an output. Need to tell it what it's going to be doing. Then the loop is the loop that it just keeps going round and round and round. We are writing digitally to the LED built-in, turning it on with high, then we're waiting for a second, and then we're writing low, turning it off, and waiting for a second, and then we're looping background to the top again to do that again. So if I send that off to it, I changed some detail and some numbers in there, so it's flashing quicker now. If I update that, there we go. You got some flashy lights saying information is being sent and received, and now it is flashing once per second. To understand what's going on, it's always nice to play around and tidy things up. What I'm going to do is change that again. We'll change that to 1/10 of a second. Update it again, and then that light will flash 10 times faster. 10 times every second. Can't see, it's the little light just in there that's the one that's flashing at the moment, because nothing else is plugged on. This is just for coding and decoding and understanding things. Obviously, all of these ports around the outside can be used to activate other things. But that's that. That is the 2560. 2560, not 2650. I don't know why I want to say it wrong, but there we go. That is that. I shall clear this away, and we'll look at something different. Right, next up, we are looking at the keypad. This is a nicer keypad than the one that came with the Lost in Space one. It's actually got numbers and letters written on it, so you can see it's a membrane. So no clicky noises when you push the buttons on this one, but it does work basically in exactly the same way. Now, obviously, this won't fit onto that because they're both the female version. So we've got some jumper wires which will plug into there, and then we can plug those onto the board. I don't know where to plug them into the board yet. I'll figure that out from the instructions when I get given them. I haven't got 8 different colours, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to figure it out. I'm going to use the orange one next. I've got another orange and another white down there. So yeah, I'll get these plugged into there. They are going to fit. It looks like they're getting a bit tight, but it is going to fit. I'm going to use the orange one last. Let's get the blue one in next. And then we'll get white and orange in there at the end, so I can tell which one goes where. Right, now, this needs to be plugged into there, which I need the instructions to tell me. I shall find that in just a moment. But first of all, we need to play around with the libraries. Now, this is something that's a little bit different. I have done it before, but we'll go back down to here. Look, there we go. Now, this is the code from the site. It requires keypad H. So we need to add that library into it. So library is basically the list of how things work for the system. Now, this, again, unfortunately, is not showing you that on there. I'm just including the zip library in there. The library I shall install will be the 4x4 Keypad Hero library, which if I click install, it says library installed down the bottom there. And then if I run that, that should. Done compiling. It's uploaded. Fine, good. You'll notice, possibly, I've stopped blinking because it's got a different program in there now. It's not being told to blink. So let's have a look. What I shall do, I shall show you the pinout for this about now. I'll put it over the code because you don't need to see the code anymore while we're doing that. And I know I've got different colours to them, but from that there and that there, I'm going to plug these in along there. It looks like 9 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 2 there. We're just working our way along the wires. What I am going to do is unplug this. I'm just happier plugging things in with it not powered. I don't think it makes a difference. I'm not aware of any known problems. It's just me wanting to do things, you know, non-powered. You're not getting very many volts out of this, but you know, why take the chance of shorting something or causing a problem while you're playing around with having wires poking around when you don't have to, basically. So there we go. They're all now plugged into there. So if I plug that back in, we get our plugging back in noises. That should be working. Now, nothing is happening because I can't see. I've not got anything programmed to give me any outputs. I shall have a look and see exactly what we've got to do and make sure I can figure out how to bring up an output window so you can see it. Okay, here we go. Now, it's easy. All I had to do was enable the serial monitor down here and check to make sure the baud rate is correct, which it wasn't, but it is now. So if I click on there, this is basically what the board is trying to send back. And because we've loaded the correct library for this, if I press 1, it tells me key pressed 1, and obviously 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might as well test them all. 8, 9, and 0. We've also got star and hash and A, B, C, and D coming off the bottom of the screen there. But there we go. So that is another component tested, working, and sort of understood. Basically, the programming has told us what all the keys are in that location. I believe if I was to change that to, I mean, for instance, from 9, if I make that H, I believe if I update that now and go back to the serial monitor again, if I press 5, it will say 5, 6, and 9. So it's H. Yes, so you can make it say anything you like for each thing. I say anything you like. Can I put in anything you like? Let's make B. Banana. Apparently, I can't spell. If I make that banana, I don't know. Let's press A and see what we get come up. We've got A. Press B. We've got a lowercase a. So no, it's a single digit, and it's apparently the last single digit from that. If I delete that A from that, I expect that will probably change that to be an N. Yes. So you can't have strings of characters. You can only have a single character, and that single character will be the last one in that sequence. I'm going to put that back where it was because otherwise I'll get confused. Let me update that to the board. So yeah, there we have 5, 6, 8, 9, B. Yep, there we go. That is that, all working and happy. So another component sorted out and played around with the code to figure things out a little bit. I'll come back and do that more in depth when we're actually, in the course. But that's another item checked off the list. I shall come back with the next one momentarily. Okay, next up we have just a small component, a variable potentiometer. I've wired it into the mini little breadboard, a cute little breadboard, isn't it? We've basically got ground going into one side, 5 volts going into the other, and a signal coming off the middle. We're putting it into the analog port on there. The code is already compiled over there and indeed sent to the system. So all we're doing is taking a reading from the middle there. Now this is basically a resistor, but it's a variable resistor. There's a little sweep. I'll put a little graphic up to show you what it is. There's a little sweep arm that you can control using this knob on the top there. And basically it just says how much of the resistor is one side of it, how much of it is the other side. Basically how much of the 5 volts is going to go through. If I bring up the serial monitor, you will see it is constantly being updated. The potentiometer is showing 0, minimum 0, maximum 1023. 1023 is just basically all of the 5 volts. So if I turn this a bit, you can see that number going up 80. And if I keep turning it all the way around, we eventually go up to maximum when it's at its full 1023. Useful for things like mainly like a volume control or something like that. Obviously that will just instantly be a volume control if you put it in between this and a speaker. But it can be used for other things, measuring things, or if you can't find a resistor that's the right value for what you want, you can program that into it. This little plug is actually separate. So once it's programmed, you can leave it be where it is, or you can leave that on and use it as a control. That's that. Nice, quick, short, easy to do. I'll move on to the next component. And the final item that I'm going to be looking at today is the 2-line LED, or LCD rather, display. This uses the variable potentiometer as a brightness control. It seems a little bit glitchy, but I might not have, tuned it in correctly. But there you go. You can just about see it goes from bright to non-existent. The wiring on this I've done obviously beforehand because you didn't need to. The breadboard is not ideal. The holes in the breadboard are a bit big for the wires basically, so I've had to adjust the wires to make them hold in properly. But it all works fine and works now. I'll show you across on the other screen now about the coding. The coding for it. As I say, at the moment it means very little to me. I haven't gone back through and played with any of this, but basically it's the liquid crystal display you're setting up, telling what it is, making sure you get the serial baud rate correct, and printing that to the serial, which is down here. As you can tell, down the bottom here, it's got the last little bit printed is LCD test. And then the loop is setting the cursor to 0, printing that code, setting the cursor to the second line, which is 1, printing that code, and then waiting, and then doing it all again. So if I was to change a thing, I can make it happen in 1 second rather than 2 seconds. I can say something different. Why is my computer beeping at me like something's been unplugged? I can say hello world instead of the random numbers. I hope I can. We'll figure it out and see. Let's send that to it. And once it updates, it comes through, and it does indeed, as you can see down there, it does indeed say hello world, and then refreshes itself and then comes back again. It's always nice to play around with the coding a little bit just to figure out if you understand how it works and what it does. But that is going to be it for this look at the stuff in the kit this time. I will return shortly for more and show you some more things next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.